Hi everybody, my name is Danielle, this is Joss. We are broadcasting again from the IDC campus studio. We are talking about how Israel is represented in the world's media. You can watch us live on Facebook and Skype on Israelunderfire.
Okay, now we have Thomas here, live on Skype. Thomas, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Good afternoon.
Okay, hi Thomas, how are you?
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So tell us a few words just about yourself, what you're doing now in life, where you're from.
Hi, so my name is Thomas. I'm a student now. I'm a law student. I'm doing a master's degree and I'm living in France, in Paris to be precise.
A master's in law, you said?
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, Thomas, the Islam population in France is very high, as you probably know. How does Israel is represented in the media as opposed to how Gaza is?
Well, not well, to be honest, because as you said, since the Arab population, Islam population is so important here, I'm pretty sure the media does all the necessary efforts to make sure that these communities are not hurt by the conflict. So they pretty much represent Israel as like the big monster who's going to eat Gaza, the small little baby.
Wow. Okay, that's scary. And tell me, like, being a Jew in Paris, how is that like for you? You know, we hear, my friends tell me from Paris that, they're religious and they can't go in the streets wearing a kippah. So do you feel that day to day at all?
In my opinion, they exaggerate a bit because I'm Jewish and I never had any issues. I don't wear a kippah, but I think there is no problem for me to walk in the streets and say I'm Jewish. As you can imagine, some neighborhoods are a bit more difficult and a bit more dangerous. And these neighborhoods where there's a strong Islam population, you try not to scream it, but otherwise you can walk anywhere in France, I'd say, without any fear or without any problems.
Right. Okay, and you said you're studying a master's in law.
Exactly.
Do you ever have any political strife going on between the students in the university or between the professors? Do you guys ever discuss the situation, and how does that unfold?
Are you still talking about the situation in Israel, right?
Yes, exactly.
No, not at all, to be honest. It's more something that people will pay interest when they have their own time, their own free time. As when we are at the university, we just focus on our classes. We do not have much discussion about this subject, and we do not have any reunions about this.
Okay.
Or meetings.
Well, here in the IDC, the students have created a control room, a hamal, where we gather information and facts and send them to our friends from the world and to journalists from around the world. Are the Jewish students in your university, are they trying to help with the Israeli hasbara? Are you doing anything?
No, because my university doesn't have a strong Jewish community. It's a university located in the suburbs, so it's much more diverse. There are not many Jewish people in the university, so they didn't do anything special in order to help.
How about your friends?
If you understand.
Have you seen any rallies going on, pro-Israel rallies or pro-Palestinian rallies out in Paris?
Not yet, but I'm not yet in the streets of Paris, but I'm pretty sure soon there will be. As always, when there's a crisis between these two countries, there are always some riots. So the first people will be for Israel, and the second march will be against Israel.
Right. I mean, I'm sure it's an emotional topic there because this past year there was the terrorist attack in Toulouse. I know it's not right next to Paris, but I'm sure it's still emotional topic over there.
It's a difficult topic, and we still have people talking about this every day in France. We have testimonies from now their brothers and sisters saying that what this man did in Toulouse was a good thing. So you still have that kind of atmosphere of anti-Semitism.
Right.
But yet, regarding this conflict, people don't talk that much about it, but I'm pretty sure soon there will be marches for and against Israel.
Okay.
Great. Thank you so much, Thomas.
Yeah, thank you, Thomas. And yeah, thank you.
You're
Bye.
most welcome. Bye.
Okay.
Well, that was Thomas. Very interesting what he had to say. Next, we're going to talk to Nissim Baruch, a father of 5 living in Ashkelon. I'm sorry, Nissim Nahoom, a father of 5 living in Ashkelon. Yesterday, he was interviewed to CNN together with a civilian from Gaza. The interview was about 15 minutes, but in the end, what was shown was only 5 minutes, where Nissim spoke to 1 minute, and 4 minutes the Gaza civilian was talking. So let's see the video now, and then we're going to talk to Nissim.
A dangerous experience. About 2 hours ago, we were able to reach Mohammed Sulaiman, a Palestinian living in Gaza who works for a local human rights NGO. And Nissim Nahoom is an Israeli living in Ashkelon. He's a father of 5 and the CEO of a local council. If you could drive directly between where the two live, it would only take you about 15 minutes. And while they share some common fears, they disagree on who's to blame for the current situation. I started by asking Mohammed to describe the situation where he is in Gaza.
The situation is actually very dangerous out in the streets. For the first time since I returned to live in Gaza 2 months ago, I feel that my life is at risk by merely being out in the streets. So yesterday, when the escalation started by the assassination of Al-Jabari, I went out in the street to check what was going on, and I literally felt that I could lose my life at any moment. And at the moment that now, at this moment, while I'm talking to you, I wonder if you can hear sporadic bombing going on outside. So basically, it's not a safe situation. People have stayed at their homes all day long. They have not taken to the streets because it's not safe to be outside. They're just chilling, bombing, warships, artillery, shelling, and warplanes as well, targeting several areas across the Gaza Strip, from the far south to the far north, with the border, at the border with Israel.
Nissim, I know you're listening to those descriptions there by Mohammed. Tell me about the situation in Ashkelon and what you guys are experiencing.
In Ashkelon, we're experiencing pretty much the same situation as in Gaza, I guess, but with one great and meaningful difference. In Ashkelon, we know that the missiles from the Gaza Strip are intended to hurt as many civilians as possible. My friend from Gaza said that he's feared for his life. Well, I must tell you, I fear for my life. I fear for the life of my 5 little kids. I fear for the life of my wife, who stayed with those little kids at home. The older one is 10 years old. The youngest one is 1 year old. And they had to run all day long to the safe room to go in and go out. I fear for the life of my parents, who are 80 years old, who have no shelter and no safe room in their home, and their neighborhood is bombed and targeted by the Palestinian extremists.
Mohammed, when you hear Nissim say that, when you hear him describe the situation where he is, what goes through your mind?
Sorry. Well, that is one thing. Sorry, carry on with your question.
We're having...
I'm not going to say anything. You can hear all things. Yeah? You can hear everything. Yeah, you can hear everything. I'm not going to comment on anything that is going on outside. I just took
Mohammed, what was that?
So that you can hear everything.
Mohammed, what was that noise we just heard?
Sorry?
What was that noise we just heard? Was that coming from outside?
These are Israeli warplanes bombing the Gaza Strip. Look, listen, let's just carry on our conversation. We need to have a decent place. Yeah. You can hear all that by yourself. I'm not going to comment on it. I'm not going even to allow these bombs to interrupt me from having this debate with you and your guests. So basically, let's agree on one thing. Let's get this this game of who is the victim and who is the victimizer out of the way, so we can talk about more substantial issues. There is no pure victim in this conflict. But now, when you talk about Palestinian rockets being fired into Israel and intentionally targeting Israeli civilians, I might as well talk.
We're back live now. You heard that last boom that interrupted our conversation there. We want you to know that Mohammed is...
We are back. This is the interview you just watched with Nissim Nahoom, who's going to talk to us in a few moments. As you can see, most of our interview was with the Gaza civilian, although the interview, as I was saying, was 15 minutes. And that is the end result, which is...
It's kind of scary seeing, that, he's speaking for most of the time and you hear explosions coming from his side. And so, some viewer in America or around the world is just seeing that. And what's he saying to himself?
Exactly.
Look, these people, they're experiencing bombings all over the place. And that's where the situation must be really bad. And
exactly. Although it is far from the truth, I think that we have Nissim now. Nissim, can you hear us?
Okay, sorry, the connection's a little bad. Nissim, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, great. Yes, Nissim, how are you?
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. Thanks for being here with us. Okay, so we just have a couple questions regarding your experiences with the whole, CNN, seeing what happened. You were interviewed for about 15 minutes. They spoke to you, from what I understand, and at the end, when they showed the video, when they recorded it, they only put 1 minute of you online. So how does that make you feel?
Well, I must say, first, almost this interview that we are doing now, we almost couldn't do it because we just had an alarm here in Ashkelon, and it was about 2 minutes ago, and luckily it was ended without
everybody's
any harm.
Okay?
Are you in the bomb shelter now?
Yes, we are okay now, and unfortunately, we are practiced with this behavior. And to the question, I must tell you, I'm very much frustrated from this interview and from all this experience because I was interviewed around 20 minutes. The total interview was approximately about 20 minutes. And eventually, as you said, they showed around 6 minutes of this interview. And I understand the issue of editing and you need to be on time and there is a time limit for each interview. But when they left only about a minute from what I said, left him the rest of the 5 minutes, and they took out almost all of the significant things that I said about the situation here in Israel and a very significant question that I tried to ask, and they left the stage completely to him. And unfortunately, I know that this broadcast in this TV interview is also broadcast around the world. So it's kind of frustrating for me. Many of the questions many of the issues that I've tried to pinpoint were left out. Like Muhammad, during the interview, the guy from Gaza, talked constantly about the occupation and the Israeli occupier and the occupation of the Gaza Strip. And I asked him, Muhammad, what occupation are you talking about? On 2005, August 2005, after a huge squirrel here in Israel, Israel evacuated every single inch of the Gaza Strip. We evacuated synagogues, we evacuated houses, we evacuated kindergartens, we evacuated every single inch of this territory. So why are you keep bombing us constantly since 2005 until now? And I also said, my 1-year-old boy, I gave him an example that my 1-year-old boy, he knows how to run, how to crawl. He's only crawling to the safe room each time he hears a siren. And I asked, is that normal? Is anyone in the world accept the fact that a 1-year-old boy should know how to crawl into a safe room? My 3-year-old boy was also born into this reality.
And my 6-year-old boy was also born in Israel. Is that normal? And
absolutely not.
Unfortunately, they just took out all those things that I said and left the part of bombing and noise. And you know, it was so funny that only 5 minutes ago we had also bombing here, and they didn't mention it. And what was important that the bombing of the Gaza area, and as I said, it was a very teachable and very unpleasant experience for me.
Do you think that there is something that you can do to prevent things from that happening again? Are you going to stop giving interviews or
no,
what?
I don't think that it will be wise. I don't think it will be wise to give up this arena and leave it only to the Palestinian because they are controlling it, and I think what you are doing there in your university, in your college, is something that must be recognized, and I think you're doing great work with it. But there are things that we need to try to do better, as trying to make sure and try as possible to make sure that the interviews will be live. Because once you are taped, you have no control on what they can do. It's not a live broadcast. And, you know, so I know that you can't always control it. I know that you can't always ask to be showed online. But it's something that need to be issued very carefully. I think the next time I will make a second thought whether to begin to a channel like CNN.
Do you think though that CNN is the only major problem, or it could be with all media agencies?
You know, I'm not a media person. I'm not in this field. But you hear a lot about how unobjective the CNN is, and I watch a lot of CNN, and I know they are covering the Israel-Palestinian conflict very one-sided. But you know, once you feel it, once you see it live upon you, you understand how single-sided they are. You understand how unobjective they are about covering the Israel-Palestinian conflict. And as I said, I don't think we must abandon this scene only to this arena only to the Palestinians, but we must make sure as much as possible that will be alive. And once you're taped, you have no idea what they're going to do with it, and what they're going to take from what you said, and what they're going to leave out. And it's a problem.
Yeah.
It's a problem. I thought about it a lot. I don't think there is an answer for it. I think we need to be very precise about what they're saying, and not trying to capture a lot of issues, but to be very, very precise, and maybe trying to make sure that you're repeating those messages that you're thinking right, and you're thinking should be broadcast. And once they take those 20 minutes you spoke, those 15 minutes you spoke, and they left on 1 minute, try that this 1 minute will be the important issue that you were trying to say, because now I know that they will leave only 1 minute from all the 15 minutes that they
right.
Yeah.
I mean, he makes a good point, Danielle, that, you know, the fact that there's all these different media sources, and, you know, it's so hard to believe what's really true, you know, if they're cutting things out here and there. So
right.
That's why it's so important for, you know, for us as students in the IDC, and, you know, for us here right now, Israel Under Fire, where, you know, we have a Facebook page and we're getting out the facts, and we're trying to show the world, giving them like the facts, and, you know, not cutting out different portions of our TV segments.
And as I said, I think they're doing great work. It's very important.
Yes. You said you have 5 small children. Tell us about what is life like in Ashkelon with 5 small children. I understand they're not going to school. They're at home. Is it difficult?
It is very, very difficult. You know, the first day is free day and the kids are saying great school tomorrow. But as the day goes on and they are locked at home and the missiles are getting closer and they're hurting schools and they're damaging schools that they know. You know, yesterday 2 schools were were damaged here in Ashkelon, and they know what schools are. You know, they have friends who study in the school, and you see that fear is getting into them. We as parents are trying to, you know, I think I'm trying to make them see that we are afraid of those missiles. Each time there is a missile, we're going to the safe room, we are not running, we are walking there, and we're trying to make fun of the situation, and we're trying to sing and make jokes on the safe room. But you can see that it's getting into them. The fear is getting into them, and each day that goes by, they are more and more afraid. And you know, for example, they're in a youth Tzofim. They're participating in Scouts, Boy Scouts. Mm-hmm. And today they were about to go out to the north for a day trip. They didn't agree to go out, even to the bus. Even to go and wait for the bus, they didn't agree to go out there. The 11-year-old boy and my 10-year-old girl, they didn't agree even to go out to wait for the bus. And they're very brave kids, but once you see they're not agreeing even to those things, they're frustrating. It's very concerning for me. Okay. But, you know, also I'm not with them all the time. And my wife is with them because I work in a CEO of Lachish Regional Council, which is also under fire. So I have to go back and forth between my parents, my 18-year-old parents, and my work and the
Nissim, sorry, we can't really hear you right now. I think
the connection went bad.
Well?
The connection went bad, but thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your help and everything. And
it was
good
great.
luck.
You're welcome.
Great talking to you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Keep on.
Okay.
Well, this was our show for today. We want to thank everybody in the control room for helping us. We want to thank the students in the IDC for doing a wonderful job in the control room, in the Hamal. We want to thank the IDC for helping us, for letting the students use their great facilities.
Yeah, and we'll see you later, live, Israel Under Fire. Have a good night.